Hello, Rebecca, 49, and I have young onset Alzheimer's, and I love it. I just met with the Rare Dementia Society this morning. It's based in Canada, and it's very validating to sit with somebody who is very versed in young onset. And that's for some reason very difficult to find, which is why I want to post, because I'm so tired of the stigma. I'm tired of being disbelieved. I'm tired of I'm tired for everybody that has an invisible illness and doesn't get treated properly. I don't like that very much. Anyways, it was a really good meeting. She basically just said that, I'm probably going to look like this to the bitter end and probably have the same insight that I have now, which can be confusing for your loved ones, obviously. Fair enough. But because young onset affects different parts of the brain and different functions, it's just harder to detect and accept, I guess. Anyway, she gave me a bunch of really good suggestions. I mentioned to her that my neurologist, who she knows well because he's very well known in Canada, she basically just said that he wrote that I will likely need care, help with living sooner rather than later. So that while he's referring me to outside resources, that they can see that I look like this, but I actually am struggling with this, and this. And so it was really good for her to say that that's why he put that in there, was so that other medical professionals that come into my home are going to look at me and think, nothing wrong with this bitch. Besides a whole bunch of mental illness and great home decor. No, but it's just more for, because my neurologist is a huge advocate for young onset. Like, he feels really strongly for supporting people with this disease. And so essentially, it's just a message to other providers that are going to care for me that this is real and that I'm actually sicker than I look. So, which is nice to understand, and I'm glad she explained that to me, but also I'm still not really fully wrapping my head around that reality. A few people have asked me what tests I've had, and I'll just describe a few of them. I had a bunch of cognitive tests. So I've had the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. It's the MOCA. I've had a mini mental exam. And then I've had the Toronto TOCA. It's called Toronto Cognitive Assessment. And then I've had a CT, which didn't really show anything. Had an MRI, and it showed frontal lobe atrophy. But it also showed atrophy in the cerebral spinal. It showed atrophy in my hippocampus, which is right here. And a classic indication of Alzheimer's is when the shrinkage is uneven. So say you have shrinkage of your brain and it's all even, it's likely not Alzheimer's. But if you have, and there's a score system to the level of shrinkage, and it's MTA 1 to 4. And on one side I have MTA 1, which is mild atrophy. And then I have MTA 2 on this side, and that's moderate atrophy. So when it's uneven, classic sign of Alzheimer's. And so I've had that test done, and then the full-on deciding factor was the cerebral spinal fluid test that shows proteins, aka shows that there's plaque on the brain, which is Alzheimer's. And mine came back with plaque on the brain. So I think diagnostically it is totally dependent, I guess, on your doctor, but it's never just one test that is definitive. I think clinically they decide based on a multitude of tests that they run. And I've been doing the testing for 2 years. So yeah, that's how I found out, and yay for me. I will probably talk more about MAID. I'm doing MAID. So if you don't know what that is, it's medical assistance in dying. And I've already been approved. I have a date set, which gets put, you have to have a date set, which is weird. Mine's in March. But if I'm not ready, then we push it back. And I can go over the process of that, because I think in Canada, there's a misunderstanding that you can only get it if you have an impending death, like meaning that you will be dead within 6 months, the disease that you have. But there's a 2-tier system that they've created for people with disabilities and with people with Alzheimer's. And it's a different tracking system. Essentially, it's just you have to have 2 assessors that are skilled in the area of Alzheimer's, interview you and look at your medical history regarding the Alzheimer's. And then there has to be like a period of time. And I immediately got approved, like right away. Like there was no questions asked. They were like, sure, yeah, you could do it tomorrow, they said. I was like, no, I don't want to do it tomorrow. But yeah, I think I worked in healthcare for 20 years. I worked in our local hospital here, and a large part of our patients had Alzheimer's. And so unfortunately, I have like way too much information on what mid to late stage Alzheimer's looks like. And I just won't live like that. I just won't. And so my MAID doctor was like, we sit down and he asked like, well, what are the kinds of quality of life that you are not willing to live with? And I said, if I can't go out and walk with my friends, and if I'm just sitting around and watching TV all the time, and if I'm not laughing, it's time to go. Because I like to make little jokes and stuff like that. I make fun of myself, obviously. And he said, absolutely. And he said, you know what? You're going to come to me and you're going to look exactly like this. You're going to have your makeup all done and your hair and all that stuff. And you're going to say it's time. Like, it's just going to look like it shouldn't be time, but it's going to be time. So, and I guess that's kind of what's happening with this, this medical document that I just read from my neurologist, where he's saying I will be needing care sooner rather than later. Like, I just can't fully wrap my head around that yet. So, yeah. It's weird. I had a lovely birthday, but I've had people say to me that they've noticed a change in me in terms of my personality being like a little bit more flat and stuff. And I feel that, and I don't like that about this disease. And that is part of it, which I found out through the Rare Dementia Society. They're a great service if you are struggling and even just have any questions, reach out to them. They're so fantastic. So, if you guys have any questions about the MAID process or whatever, ask away.